The Uncoachables.
So I'm sitting here with Trev. Trev, where are you right now, buddy?
Sitting in big, beautiful London, Ontario. I think they actually say it's the nicest London going. I know London, Kentucky is a close second, but London, Ontario is definitely number one.
Well, there you go. Right on. Kev, whereabouts are you?
I'm in the big city, couch surfing, doing my thing. Just living the dream, boys. Living the dream.
That's Kev out of Toronto. And last but certainly not least, we got Louie here. Where are you at?
I'm in my fiance's office, which is ridiculously bare. This is disgusting.
You gotta hang some stuff up there. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not. They don't trust me with hammers. Yeah, we're in Windsor. This is fun.
Well, when you're in the armpit of Ontario, I think your room has to match your surroundings.
You're actually not allowed to hang anything at all. The closest it is to a prison cell, the better.
Let's be honest. Nothing's hung down here.
Here you
Can
go.
confirm.
Yeah. And I'm
someone call Ryan.
I guess I'm moving.
Oh yeah. I'm hiding out in Ottawa here, and we're gonna do a little bit of a 2021 has come and gone. Thank fuck. Pretty shitty year for everybody, and good parts as well. But we're gonna talk about maybe some highlights that happened this year in sports. I'll start off by Trevor already made the joke about Kentucky. The Kentucky Derby. The winner this year was Medina Spirit. And they actually did some drug testing right after it was done and realized that horse was doping big time, was on the juice. So they were going to run some tests and see if it was, how much that would have affected the race and whatnot. But I believe they stripped them from the title. That horse actually died on December 2nd. So there's a huge controversy about it right now about what happened. How much were they doping this horse? Were they training it improperly or whatever? But it died December 2nd training. So a champion horse, super young too. I mean, a lot of them are. Don't get me wrong, but that's pretty wild and just goes to show you how much. How competitive and how crazy the world of horse racing can be.
Bren, I think we can all agree that they really need to crack down on horses doing cocaine when they're in the racing circuit.
That was my question. Was this inflicted on him or was it self-inflicted?
I would say this is getting out of line.
I'm wondering if they treat the jockeys similarly. They're juicing up these horses. Are they giving some sort of midget medication to the jockeys to keep them lighter?
The anti-steroids?
Putting them on a treadmill 17 hours a day with some sweatpants and a sweater on.
Imagine the owners we got to cut Jean Parlo over here. He's getting over 120 pounds and he looks like he's about to crack 5 feet. So that's enough for us. He's done.
All right, let's just cut him at the knees and we'll staple some shoes on to the nub there and call it a day.
Oh my God. We can only feed him cauliflower.
I don't know why you got to give him Conor McGregor's ears, but all right.
Oh boy, yeah. That guy's in. Is he fighting again this year? I think he is. I think he's got to fight.
You know what I saw? I saw the other day, probably one of the ugliest sports moments in history. It was a top countdown of the worst 100 things of this year. And Conor McGregor's throw from the pitching mound to home plate, what do you call those throws at the start of the game?
The mound, yeah.
First pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to be an athlete. It looked like he used his wrong hand. He did go lefty, I noticed, so maybe he just didn't know he was a righty, but that was fucking atrocious.
Who else had a bad one? I think 50 Cent had a brutal one too. It was so funny. He gets out there, this thug, and he grabs the ball, and it's always almost an identical throw as Conor McGregor's. It was just absolutely brutal. And you're like, are you guys not obviously 50 Cent isn't an athlete, but the guy's lifted a couple weights in his life, and I'm sure he's been around a ball or two. So it's just confusing to me how maybe you're nervous. I don't know what it is, but how can you not throw a ball? Even just straight, even if you don't make it, you know what I mean? Doesn't make much sense to me. It's wild. Okay, ball's going straight. Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters this year. He's the first Japanese player to do so. I actually watched the Masters this year. It was fucking sweet, and this guy killed it. He was calm and cool, collected the whole time. A lot of people doubted him, especially going into the third day, but he just kept his wits about him, and the fucking guy killed it. And one of the favorite parts, I guess, was afterwards he was sitting in the airport waiting to get on an economy class seat with his green jacket just hung over his shoulder in the airport, just sitting there on his phone by himself. And someone took a photo of him. They're like, man, is this guy in the airport right now? What's going on? And what's amazing about that is they were saying he basically is going to become not only a multimillionaire overnight, but in Japan, golf is fucking massive. And I had no idea. There are so many golf courses in Japan. It's one of their biggest sports. And I just found that super cool because I really wouldn't have expected that coming out of Japan.
Hey, Brent, it's snowing in London tonight, and I'm just wondering if you want to go sit and watch that happen as well. It'd probably be a little bit more exciting.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Wow.
That sounds great.
But to be honest, this guy rolling into the airport with the jacket on his shoulder, literally every 50-year-old man was just getting the starkest erection in that airport.
Absolutely.
They were like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, though. I mean, lots of coin. We'll see how he does this year, obviously, but I thought that was really cool that he was able to reign in that championship. That's pretty awesome. What else can we talk about here? So Tampa Bay, obviously, Tom Brady and the Bucks killed it last year. They're doing great this year as well. We'll see what happens. They just had a comeback win against the Jets of all teams, which isn't very exciting and shouldn't really be talked about. But either way, they're on their way. They're doing well. They're in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens here. There's a lot of great teams, a lot of good potential. Any of you guys have favorites for this year for the Super Bowl?
Just before we jump into favorites, I don't know how you can glaze over that. That was like 86 yards in 51 seconds that Brady did yesterday. I don't care if it's the Jets or a Pee-wee team. That's borderline impressive.
An absolute
And I don't
machine.
think he broke a sweat.
Borderline though.
He was just like,
That show had that game literally had everything.
yeah.
It had Tom Brady doing his magic. It had a man stripping in the middle of the game.
Yeah, that
Like
Rock hard abs though.
literally sign me up.
Antonio Brown. Jesus, how many teams has this guy been with in the last 5 years?
Who fucking knows?
I don't understand why people keep signing him.
6.
Like I don't watch too much NFL, so I don't really understand it. But like I see the clown fest, and I'm like, why are people picking this guy up all the time?
Man, I have absolutely no idea because
You're sick, but
he is sick. He's super cocky. I'm guessing in the room, does what he wants to do. Shows up to practice when he wants. Probably everything's based on his time schedule because he's the be all end all in his mind. And don't get me wrong, he's an amazing player. But if that's all you're gonna give, I'd rather have somebody, who will try their best every game and show up instead of just put on a show. And it's the AB show, right? He doesn't give a fuck about what happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, at what point is the extra salary you're paying him for someone who's maybe 5% worse than him, but that person not be an absolute clown and distract your team? Like, when is that going to be more valuable, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, again, I'm not the biggest football fan. Does anyone know what actually happened?
There's
Why
theories.
he just left and quit?
There's theories abound, but truthfully, from an outside opinion, it's probably something mental health related. I think he probably had a little bit of a break. Like, no, as much of a clown as he's been in the past, no remotely rational person does that.
No, it's true. It's true. No, that's definitely it. So staying in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Lightning last year won the Stanley Cup for the second time in a row. Wicked, awesome. They're a phenomenal team. They're still going strong this year. I'm pretty sure they're top of the league right now. I don't see anything really stopping them again, especially not fucking Montreal, who's at the very bottom, which still makes me very happy. But no, I just think that they still have everything it takes, and it's really going to take a lot to take that team down.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
that team was literally made like well executed in every way. And so, yeah, I still say, like, even if they're not in the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference, like, that's just basically them just warming themselves up for playoffs. And I think
boys, let's
see.
Go ahead,
let's keep in mind that they're pulling a 2-year fast one in a row here, where Kucherov is still on the IR. Thank you for my fantasy team. But
It's
No,
true.
to
No, it's true.
Kucherov being out until the playoffs, I mean. But I think he'll be back a little bit before playoffs, I fucking hope. But either way, like they're missing, I'll say arguably their best player, because they've got a few of them that you could put in at that top slot, like Point, Stamkos on forwards just alone. But like, you know, this guy's not playing and they're still just fucking slaying it. So
yeah,
more to come.
So if we look at point percentage, they're actually sixth. And so they're sitting at 691 with point percentage. They're third in the league on points. But who's killing it? So Tampa Bay is 691 point percentage. Carolina has 758 point percentage. So they're winning 3 out of every 4 possible points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. Carolina, again, another incredible team. It's definitely somebody to look out for this year. Not really a team I thought. I mean, every year they've gotten a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, but they really are excelling this year. That's for sure.
They needed a goalie, and I think the culture that they're building, that Brindamore has built within the actual core group, I think is nothing short of exceptional.
Yeah. Is Anderson staying healthy? Yeah. Good.
And Rod the Bot is the guy, like legit. You want a player or a coach that players are going to look up to, a coach that's legit pumping more than they are in the gym every day just because he's a freak and he's good at hockey and a good coach. Like, no, he's unchirpable as a coach. Like, players have to respect him.
Yeah.
And that probably.
And he also won a cup with Carolina. He's like ride or die, like get on my program or get the fuck off this team. And it's that's the energy you want.
And I don't think it's like a respect, like, you know, I feel like players would respect Torts because he'll shred them otherwise. Like, I think with Brindamore, it's just like you respect him because he does more than you. Like, it's not a fear thing. It's just like an actual full out respect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. Yeah, so we'll see what happens this season with the NHL. I mean, depending on how many games get pushed, I think 90 games right now have been postponed so far in the NHL. And they said they're going to try and throw them all back together before the playoffs. I don't see it happening. I see this season going into the summer. If it doesn't get completely postponed for a month or two, we'll see what happens. But I think it's just Canada right now that's having the most problems. Ontario specifically, with just keeping things going. But yeah, a lot of teams are having that problem right now with, obviously, everyone knows what's going on in the world. But
so I had a cool kind of thing that I saw on the internet yesterday, and it was about Canada and all of our COVID restrictions in regards to professional sports. So what if, just like the Blue Jays did when they went to Buffalo and the Raptors did for Tampa, what would happen to our Canadian hockey teams if they were told you can't play hockey in Canada? We have to relocate you to American cities for the remainder of the season. Where would they all go? The biggest example was Toronto moving to Houston.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That'd be pretty sick.
And then the shittiest one, I think it was Ottawa going to Indianapolis, because nobody in Indianapolis gives a shit about hockey. So it was kind of like, balancing.
The Ottawa fans are excited.
That would ensue. Like, could you imagine free agency the next year? Canada would be losing some guns. No one would want to stay.
Well, the reason they're rescheduling a lot of them at the moment in Canada is because the lack of fans, and they need the fans for the salary cap. So if they were to move the 7 teams south of the border, they're basically saying we need to redo our salary cap formula because it's going to drop next year.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Yeah,
that's wild, man. Straight up. All right, last little bit. I guess we can talk about. We've got to stay in the top 4 here. The NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. They killed it last year. They snagged that championship. I want to say him and him alone. Obviously, there's a great team there, but that guy is an absolute beast.
He's the Greek freak, but I'm not a big NBA fan, but the little bit I do watch, I would say it's him and him alone in Milwaukee.
If somebody told me that Milwaukee was a team that won the basketball championship, I'd laugh in their face if I didn't know what was actually going on in the league.
And you know what? And now that you say that, I just took a look at the standings for the top 3 teams. There's a Golden State Warriors in first, fair play. Second is Phoenix Suns, and the third in the league right now is the Utah Jazz. If the Phoenix Suns or the Utah Jazz win the championship this year, that's sick. I'm gonna buy a jersey. Fuck it, I'm all in.
Dude, Utah's got sick jerseys. Utah's got some sick jerseys.
Phoenix too. Some of the retro Phoenix ones are cool.
Yeah, I remember I used to have an old school Steve Nash Phoenix Suns jersey, and that thing was absolutely fire.
Absolutely, but you haven't heard of either of those teams really in the last few years that much. Phoenix, to be fair, a little bit more, but the Utah Jazz, that's always been a C-list team in my mind. I don't know why. Just in our era, I guess they haven't been the best of all time, right? So anyway, it should be cool to see what happens this year with the NBA. It's also kind of nice to see teams like, the Lakers with LeBron and stuff, not riding the top of the standings all the time and just coming up with win after win after win. I think teams are finding ways to shut it down. Teams are finding.
LeBron's kind of back though. LeBron has been fucking sick the last maybe 2 weeks. I was watching a game the other day. It was either the second or third quarter. This guy had like 6 dunks.
Really?
He was crushing it. Yeah. So he's getting older. I know he had a slower start to the year, but you get this boy going. And come playoffs, you never know. He's gonna go.
He spends, what does he spend, $1 million on his body every year? That's what he told people. He said, between training and physiotherapy and whatever else he gets done, it's $1 million a year on his body just to keep himself going, which is what, I believe it. Obviously, he's a little older.
To be fair, though, probably spent a fucking ton on my body, too, between going to the bar, going out for dinner. Strictly the LCBL.
He at least spends $150K on Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't forget, Kev is the condo pro out of all of us. He can afford it.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, definitely. All right, boys. We're gonna slip over to our boy Lou here. The next sport I want to jump into is F1, and what a culmination to that fucking season. I'm not gonna say another word, Lou. I want you to take it away, and why not tell the viewers here how you got into F1, and why your dick gets so hard because of it.
Oh my god, it's like stick shift, baby. No, honestly, I grew up on it. My nono, which is Italian for grandfather, and my father, they both were huge Ferrari fans when I was a kid, and so they had been watching it for years and years and years. And so, I always wanted to grow up and be like them. And so watching it on TV all the time, it was pretty cool because my dad would always explain it like you have 15 Evil Knievels all in cars racing each other. And so that kind of got me really excited about the sport. And when I was younger, it was all about the drivers. And then as soon as I got older and I learned all of the cars and the engineering and the techniques, it just became such a fascinating sport. And then over the past maybe 10 years, get a lot of drama involved. So you're hearing all of this. It's like grown man soap operas, this sport. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy to see them live, and it's honestly such a fun ride. And then you get to see all the richest of the richest people go all out, and you get to see it all videotaped in the paddock, on the grid. You get to see these guys walking around with billions of dollars, and you're like, what is this sport? It's an animal house. And yeah, I just sort of fell in love with it. I was very lucky because when I was a kid, Michael Schumacher, which actually it's his birthday today, so happy birthday. Hope he's getting well. Growing up, he was the #1 guy. So I got to watch Ferrari just dominate for years and years and years and see this guy that's the greatest driver of all time be him at that period. And so that instantly got me hooked on the sport because, you're seeing your favorite team or my family's favorite team succeeding. And so that got me hooked on it. And yeah, here we are today. This season was pretty crazy, actually. For the past 8 years, we've had Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, Toto Wolff. They have just been dominating for the past 8 years, both in the driver's standings and in the constructor's standings. This year, finally, Red Bull has stepped up to the plate again with Max Verstappen, which he's always had good years, but the car just wasn't right. This year, they finally figured it out, and boy, oh boy, they had an amazing season going head to head till the last race where they were both tied in points. And we had a bit of a controversy. I don't want to tell the fans. I think they should watch Drive to Survive on Netflix, sort of get the full story on what's going on there. No plug. But I think if you watch Drive to Survive this next season, you'll realize why I love this sport so much, and hopefully they get a lot more viewers this year.
I don't see that being a problem at all. I think this is going to be probably their most popular season yet after the finish that this season had.
Oh, absolutely. Like I saw on Rogers Sportsnet, Formula One, and I was like, what the fuck? Like when I was working there, they wouldn't let me go see a livery showcase. And I was like, it was in Toronto. They were showing the brand new team, and Rogers wouldn't let me go, which was unfortunate. But at the time, like Canadians weren't big Formula One fans unless you lived in Montreal. And now it's like getting to this point where I feel like I'm like excited and talking with random people about Formula One now, and it's exciting. It's fun.
Are you on that note? Are you and your dad going to rip out to Montreal this year? Or no, I'm not sure yet.
We've had tickets for 2020, and unfortunately with COVID, they didn't have any fans, so they've refunded our tickets. So as soon as they're allowing fans to go back to the Canadian Grand Prix, yeah, we're going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on, man. That's awesome.
I got to say, on behalf of the Uncoachable fan, I'm really happy that you told that story to that one person.
Yeah, my mother. Thank you. Trev, do you want to slip us into a little bit of one of our favorite segments and probably our only segment? Go ahead. The Uncoachables Sport of the Week here. What do we got? Kabaddi. So go ahead.
So Kabaddi is a sport that's played in India. Don't know too much about it. So I've got a highlight reel. It was from yesterday, so it's fresh. So no cheating. And let me just go ahead, share my screen. Or actually just give us more of insight as to how the hell they play that sport, but it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would sit down with like 18 beers, not know how it works, and try and figure it out on the go.
That's how they figured it out. Yeah.
I think that's going to be our first Uncoachable special.
Yeah, our first live event will just be.
Jesus Christ! I'm imagining us at a park just yelling on the top of our lungs, "Kabaddi!"
Yeah.
You know what? I don't see an issue. This sounds like a fun way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay, we'll slip right into our last little segment here. It's a little quiz section. I'm going to ask you guys 3 questions. I got 3 pretty good ones here today, actually. I'm going to start with the first one. What do you think is the oldest sport in the world?
Define sport, like oldest organized.
I know this.
Oldest sport, not necessarily organized.
Lacrosse.
That's what I was gonna say.
Lacrosse?
Yeah.
Lacrosse, yeah.
Trev? Running.
Not wrong. He's not wrong.
You're right. You're right. I don't know if it was. Yeah. So apparently it's wrestling.
That was my second guess.
Dates back to when the Romans were playing it way back when. But wrestling is the oldest sport in the world apparently.
Well, Bren, did they have to run to get to the wrestling match?
No.
They can walk.
Horse and buggy. Continuing. So let's go to the next question. Fastest sport in the world. And it doesn't have.
Well, I've got a couple jokes here.
A nice. Oh, Jesus! Here we go.
Are we talking about Ken's sex life or?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I've seen that, and trust me, it's a sport.
I'm just happy that qualifies as a fucking sport, to be honest.
So it doesn't actually have to be the person playing the sport. It can be an object in the sport that's moving at a certain speed. But what is the fastest sport in the world?
I don't know how to spell it, but high-lie.
Highline?
High-lie.
High-lie?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, what do you think, buddy?
I don't know, man. Quidditch. I have no fucking clue.
Quidditch.
What do people do that?
Quidditch. Louie, what do you think, buddy?
It's got to be like fighter jet racing.
No, close. By close, I mean nowhere near.
We do like.
It's badminton.
I don't have anything. Go.
It's badminton.
Badminton. The fastest shuttlecock was clocked at 493 kilometers an hour. Yeah.
I've seen Kev's cock go with that fast.
yeah, burning holes through domes.
And
my
Let me just say, I have an elaborate set of stairs to get up to my place.
There you go. Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice.
A lot easier getting down.
My last question. This one actually really took me by surprise, and I'm kind of pissed off about it, if I'm being honest. But what do you think cheerleaders in the NFL get paid per game? Give me a number. Cheerleaders in the National
12
Football
games.
League per game.
18. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm going to say 5 Gs.
5 Gs. Chep's coming up with 1,000.
1,000? I'm going to say like 700.
Okay, so again, this pissed me off. A cheerleader get paid $150 per game in the NFL.
Wow.
What a slap in the face, man. That's so brutal. I hate that. I think that, like,
so it's just volunteer work.
Basically. Well, in Canada, for the CFL, it is volunteer. Which, anyway, I found that insane.
And they're trying to get themselves to 150 bones in the NFL. Jesus.
I know. Think about how many people walk in there, how many people they can put in those stadiums. I think it's just, anyway, I think that's a complete fucking joke. But
can we get another stat for next week? How many cheerleaders end up either marrying or having kids with an NFL player?
Ooh, I will look into that. That's a great thing to look into. So for next week,
maybe it's a long game.
Could be. That's true. All right, boys. Well, this week has been fun. I hope everyone's doing well, and hopefully we have a little more. Hopefully we have just as much, if not more, sports being played next week instead of keep getting these cuts. But we'll talk to you boys next week, and this has been the Uncoachables. Cheers, boys.
Bye.
See you, fellas.